Hey guys, I'm Jennifer, That Sew Chick. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to go over all of the things that you need to get started with bag making. So come along. Okay, so obviously the number one thing you're going to need is a good sewing machine for bag making. I personally have the Juki TL18. There are a couple others. Just look them up, compare them, and decide for yourself which one you think would be best for you. I went ahead with the Juki TL18 QVP. It has been the best machine I've ever had. I probably use that machine 90% of the time. I also just recently purchased my first Bernina. I got the Bernina 790 Plus. That one is definitely an investment for sure. Lots of amazing stitches. It's a great quality machine as well, but I do tend to go back to my Juki for most of my bag making, especially when I'm assembling. So that's number one. Number two, you're going to need a lot of the basics, stuff that you probably already have. But if you're brand new and you're like, I don't have all these things, then, well, here you go. Number two is your rotary cutter and a mat. So over here, you can see I have a pink mat. That one is, hold on, let me see if I can get you over there. That one right there is a 37 or 36 by 24 inch cutting mat. It is the poppy cotton pink mat. I got it at my local quilt shop. It was about $55. I've also had the Fiskers, and I forget what the Quilter Select, I believe, is another one. They can be pretty pricey. It is very much worth it. You want something that you can cut yardage on, larger pieces. So whatever brand you end up getting, just make sure that it is a self-healing cutting mat. That means that when you cut on it, it doesn't bust through, and it self-heals. I don't know how else to explain it. That's what it does. But you definitely want one that is nice, big, 36 by 24 or bigger. My personal preference, at least. Okay, number two is the rotary cutter. The one that I have several. I'm a rotary cutter snob. I love them all. I'm not a snob, but like I get them all the time. So this is the Famor 45. Most of the time I'm using a 45-inch blade. I do have a 60-inch blade, one of them, but this is the most common size blade. I do highly recommend the Olaf brand, and then this is like the Olaf brand for your blades. 45 is great. It's my favorite size. So not going to get into all that, but so number one is your sewing machine. Number two is a cutting mat. Number three is your rotary blade. Number four. Now this one right here is something that I didn't have for the longest time when I first started out. So you don't absolutely need it, but let me tell you, when I got it, it was a game changer. So I would say getting you one of these. This is just the first portion of it. This is a tube turner. So it comes with 3 different sizes of this. They're in my drawer somewhere, but this is the one I use the most. And this looks like a chopstick. Chopstick. There we go. So this is the one that I use the most. It comes in 3 different sizes and they're different colors, but this is the one that I often use the most for turning my straps. When I'm making my own straps and I need to make a tube first to be able to create it. If you're making your own straps to match your bags, get you a tube turner. Along with this, number 5 is a Bodkin. So this is the Bodkin that I use. There are several types out there. I believe this is the Oliver brand. But basically you take this, you open it up, and it connects to your material and you lock it in there. Whoops, that way. And then you slide it through your now created tube and you pull your strap through the tube so that you can, sew it down and create your tubing strap. So there's that. So tools wise, definitely get you a tube turner and then your Bodkin. Bodkin, I guess is how you spell it. I don't know. Google it. All right. And then what are we on? 6, I think. Number 6, which there's no specific order to these, but get you one of these. So this is a turning, this side is to poke out your corners, right? When you're making bags. But this side is amazing. It's a Hera Marker. And it basically is created, I can't even tell, it's thin, right? Thin. Okay, so this is a Hera Marker and it does marks for you. So when I am using when I'm quilting a bag and I just want your X's or some straight lines, I will use this to mark on my my actual fabric, and it creates a crease that stays forever. And when you sew right in that crease or right over that crease or whatever, you don't even notice that it's there afterwards, and you get the perfect straight lines of whatever you want. I like this one because it's a 2-in-1. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I like it's a 2-in-1, but you can get one that is a little bit shorter, and it's just this one as well. These are about $10. I think these are about $10, and I think this is like $6 maybe. It might be $10, I don't know. But I will try my best to post a lot of these links in the comments, although I'm going to say go to your local quilt shop if you're able to. Here in the DFW area, they're all over the place. But I know that there's some places like where my mom lives in Connecticut where there was not a quilt shop anywhere in an hour distance. Of course, we're gonna hear all the noise outside. But anyway, so those are all of my other necessities. Okay. I think we're on number 7 or 8. I don't know. We're not really going to keep track of the numbers, okay? So I got my little basket here full of things. Let's see. So you're also going to need basics like, you know, clips. You want to have your Wonder clips are the most the expensive brand, or you could just go on on Amazon and put in sewing clips, and like a big assortment of these clips will come up. Are they cheap? Yeah. But they do a great job. They do just fine. You might break one when you open it up every once in a while, but that's like 1 in 100 or 10 in 100 maybe, you know, like it's not that big of a deal. They're so cheap, just get them. Also, every once in a great while, you are going to want push pins. Very rarely, to be honest, but having them is good. I got this at a quilt show. You're also going to want one of this size rulers because of to do your boxed bottoms. Can you use a regular ruler? Absolutely. But if you can invest in a little 2.5-inch ruler or a 2-inch ruler, it's really awesome. Another game changer for marking is the air drying or air erasing. That's what I mean. Air erasing pen. So this is from Air Erasing. Okay, sorry about that. Dogs had to come in here with me because the lawn people are here. You know, real life over here. Okay, where was I? Okay, so we got our water soluble or air pencils. We got all that over there. So threads, that's what I was showing you. So cotton thread just for your quilting and for colors, but when you're assembling the bag, use a 100% polyester. Okay, also zippers. Zippers are gonna be something you wanna stock up on. I love getting zippers by the yard. They come in a big old wad like this. You can either get like I think it's like 10 yards of one color like this, and it comes with like 20, I think, zipper pulls that match it. And they run about $7 to $8. No, sorry, that's a lie. They run about $15 for 10 yards. You can also purchase like a multi-color pack. They're usually about $20 to $24. But you get like a bazillion colors. I say a bazillion. You get like 12 colors, I think, and there's like 6 zipper pulls per color or something like that. Those are my favorite ones to get because I like having a lot of variety of colors. And same thing so that was like number 8 or 9, I don't know. And then you also want some webbing. Now, here's the thing with webbing. You can buy this like 1 or 2, it's 1 and 1.5 inches are the sizes you're gonna use the most. So you could stock up on both sizes, get you all kinds of colors. I like this polyester webbing. This one's really silky. And so I got a colored pack, this whole pack, I forget how much it was, but there's like 3 yards or something of each color. But what's funny is 9 times out of 10, I'm covering it with fabric because I like to match my bags to my fabric. But if you don't want to cover it with fabric and you're still like kind of getting the hang of it, just get you like a similar color, and so you can get a variety bag color. And it depends on your hardware, which is coming up. It depends on your hardware what size you want. So you want your 1 inch and your 1.5 inch. So I would stock up on both of those. But you can also get cotton webbing. Just remember that it's not going to slide as easily on your hardware. So at Hobby Lobby, well, okay, before Hobby Lobby, this one is a fancy one from like Ruby Star Society. You get these at quilt shops. These run about $7.99 a yard. That's pretty expensive. So most of the time you're gonna need it about 1.5 yards to 2 yards to be able to do like a strap for a tote bag or something, right? So that's like $16 right there just for your strapping. So, you know, just make sure you're adding that into your prices when you're making your bags. But the fun strapping is pretty expensive. You're looking between $6.99 to $8.99 for 1 yard of fancy strapping. You can also go to Hobby Lobby and find some fancy strapping. So this one is a pretty cool one, and then this one is a pretty popular one. These are about, let's see, $2.29 a yard and $1.99. I think this one I paid $1.99 a yard, and this one was $2.29 a yard. And this one is like a cotton polyester blend. I think this one's fully polyester. It's very silky, but it's very popular in my bags. So there's a variety of prices and stuff when it comes to straps. Just make sure that when you're selling your bags, if you are, that you're adding that into your price. Okay, what else do we got? So I got the snips, I got that, I got those. Hardware. Okay, so hardware. I have a, what are you called? You are called a pegboard. I have a pegboard, and these are the IKEA little things that slide in. And I have all the different colors I can get of hardware. So I have silver, I have rose gold, I have regular gold. Actually, I have two different kind of golds, because you know, sometimes it's like a bright shiny gold and sometimes it's like a dull darker gold. And then I have a brass, I have the tulip pink ones, and then I have that black, what is it called? Like a gunmetal black. Those are the different colors of hardware. And then my sizes vary between 1 and 1.5 inches, and I have them separated by size and color. So there are 3 or 4 different pieces of hardware that I keep in stock. Let me pull them out separately for you. There's 2 of those. We got that, and then this is like a different size, and my D-ring. Okay, so let's see. There's I use these all the time. Oh, and I have another one in there. There's one more in here. I'll tell you what it is, but I think it's up in another color right now. So you got your D-ring. This is the portion that is connected to your bag, usually that your swivel hook right here attaches to. So bam, so your swivel hook will attach to this, and then your anyway, so your straps will connect to either end of these. And then to make it a slider, you will have a slider one, which can come like this or like this. This one is movable. It's personal preference, whatever you prefer. I use both of them. I don't have a preference. They're both great. Oh, and then these are the sizes. So you have your 1 inch and your 1.5 inch. I like to keep both of them because, like, for example, when I'm using my Hobby Lobby 1.5 inch, I need it big enough to fit there. But when I'm using the smaller one, you want to make sure your hardware fits. If you're using a 1.5 inch in one of these, it's going to be all squished and not be right. But if you're using a 1 inch in these, it's going to be overly loose and big. So just make sure you're getting both hardwares. So yes, your swivel hooks are the type that they swivel, they turn around, and it's great. But there's a couple different kinds that you can get. And then along with the D-ring, they have something called the triangle ring. So it's, again, personal preference. You can use both. They're really neat. So those are all the hardware that I keep in stock all the time. 2 different sizes, several different colors, and I love it. Okay. Last but not least is going to be batting. Batting is a huge deal. You want to know what type of batting that you're using and for what part of the bag. And you might even be using multiple kinds of batting in one bag. So here are some of my samples that I have just laying around. This is your basic quilter's cotton batting that goes on the inside of your quilts. You can use this in bags all the time. If you want like a really like just soft, quiable, loose bag, like maybe a drawstring bag or something, you can use your leftover quilter's cotton, not quilter's cotton, quilter's batting. There's different thicknesses. You can get it anywhere, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, your local quilt shop, that kind of thing. But so that's an option. This is another very popular one. This is fleece. So he's crying because he wants to go outside to the lawnmower guy. No, Chinook, stop. Anyway, so I like personally the single-sided fusible fleece is what I use the most. So on one side, you're going to feel like a grimy like side, and then the other side is super soft. This is the side you iron on to the wrong side of the fabric. I also like getting double-sided fusible. So if I'm making something that I want to be able to fuse both sides together and then quilt it, so I buy both kinds. But most of the time, I just want to quilt the outside of my fabric and not the inside. So I will get single-sided fusible fleece. Okay, so that's when you want it a little bit thick, but not as thick as this next one, which is what I use 85 to 90% of the time on my bags, at least the type of bags that I make. So that's one right there. Before I get to that one, this is the other one that I use. This one is SF101. It is a woven interfacing, okay? And it's one side of it's fusible. So I have the sticky stuff on this side that adheres to the fabric, and then the other side looks just like white cotton fabric. The point of this is to strengthen your fabric and to take away the stretch from the fabric. So whenever I'm doing linings of any of my bags, I will most likely go ahead and just iron some of this onto the back side of it, just to give it some more stability, make it a little bit thicker, and to just make it, the quality is just so much better on the inside of the bag, rather than having like a sheet-like loose inside. I like to thicken it up a little bit. So I keep this in stock by the bolt, okay? When it comes to what I keep in stock by the bolt is my fleece, my woven interfacing, and then this, I buy 2 bolts of it at a time, and I keep them right under there. It's actually over there in my wall. But anyway, this is foam stabilizer. So I personally like buying the double-sided fusible. So both sides of this is fusible, because 9 times out of 10, I am making a quilt sandwich and I am quilting my entire thing, whether it's on my domestic machine or using my embroidery machine. I quilt so many of my bags. I don't even have one made right now. Everything's sold or gone. But almost all of my bags that I make are tote bags of some sort, or, you know, whatnot. And so I want like something that when I scrunch it, it's gonna pop back up into place. And your foam stabilizer, excuse me, is going to be the #1 thing you want. Now there is options. You can get a sew-in only where there's no stickiness at all. You can also purchase a single-sided fusible or a double-sided fusible. But I believe this is the SF78. I could be wrong. Where's my... I'll put it in the comments below. I have a whole roll of it over there. But this stuff is about $11 to $15 a yard, depending on where you're getting it. If you can get with a local quilt shop and maybe make a deal with them and say, hey, if I buy a bolt or 2 at a time, will you give it to me for your price? That's what I do. So I actually get lucky, and I pay about, I think it's like around $8 for a yard, basically, is what it comes out to. So yeah, so this is my absolute go-to. I use foam stabilizer for just about all of my bags. I use the SF101 woven interfacing for the inside lining of all of my bags. And then if I'm just making little zipper pouches and trying to do quick little fun stuff to sell for, you know, a decent cheap price, that's when I use my fleece single-sided fusible interfacing. All right, guys. That is pretty much everything you need to get started. Oh, wait, one more thing. There was one more thing. So when it comes to rulers for bag making, I have 2 different rulers here. This is the one, my Creative Grids. It's 6.5 by 24.5. Look, I know it's expensive. I think they're like 30 bucks. I don't even know. I don't remember. They're like $30 or $40. Get it. Get it. I promise you, this is going to be the one and only ruler that you use 99% of the time. I promise you it'll be worth every penny. There are cheaper brands, Fiskers and all that, but you see all those little dots on there? Those are non-stick little things, so it doesn't slide very easily on the fabric. The Creative Grids 6.5 by 24.5 inch ruler will be the only ruler you ever really need, pretty much. Or I upgraded to the Tula Pinks 10.5 by 24.5 inch ruler. I know you can't see it. I don't think you can see it. No, you can't see it, but is it upside down? But the little design on here is an owl. And if anybody knows me, I love owls. I have a giant owl right here on my leg, right there. Okay. But it has a big, huge owl on it. But this is her pink. And of course my whole room's like pink, you know, so I had to have it. This was like an $80 ruler. Shh. Guys, patience. Anyway, this was like an $80 ruler, and I use it all the time. It actually replaced this one. I very rarely pull this one out now. I use this ruler right here for my bag making 99% of the time. I liked the fact, because a lot of my bags are wider than 10.5 inches. So having this to be able to lay down and hold all that fabric down is just amazing. I love it, especially when I'm creating my lines. So that Hera Marker, what you do is you just see how it's got all the lines on it. These are 1-inch lines. And then all these white ones in between are 1/4-inch lines. But anyway, I lay this down and then I use my Hera Marker to get my 1-inch spaces on all of my fabric. So this ruler or this one, at least the 6.5 by 24.5. At least get this one. But if you can afford the big one, get it. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much. Hey guys, just gonna pop in here real quick before I end this video. There was 2 things that I found yesterday that I was like, how did I even forget these? So the first one I'm gonna tell you about is called the purple thing, or you can use a seam ripper, or you can use an awl or a pointing tool of some sort. But basically, I use this when I'm trying to push my fabric through when it's getting kind of thick, especially around a zipper, and when I'm trying to put my fingers close to my needle. But you can use something like these, a purple thing, even the tip of your seam ripper, like I said, to be able to push that fabric through. So that's huge. And then last but not least, I don't know how I even forgot this, but the zipper jig. So this is weird looking, I know, and it takes a lot of practice. I'll do a whole nother video on that for you. But once you get the hang of it, it helps put the zipper pull on your zipper like that. But it does take a little practice. But I promise you it'll be worth it. And it's definitely a game changer in my bag making to put those zippers on nice and quick, no problem. Anyway, all right, I think that's it, guys. For the most part, not all of it, but they're pretty much needs that you need when you want to really get into good bag making. If you have any questions, let me know. I will drop as many links as I can in the comments, or in the description of this video, but I cannot stress enough, go to your local quilt shop, go check them out, and let me know what you found, what type of notions that you found that were like, what's this? Or if you have questions about it. Or if you are a bag maker yourself and you found a notion that is just game changing for your bag making, let us know. Drop it down in the comments. Again, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for supporting my channel. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this was helpful for you. Have fun sewing.